Hello everyone! Happy Monday. Super excited to be here with you guys today as we are on week 2 of our Meadowland Quilt Along. The Meadowland Quilt is the quilt behind me here. It's a quilt I designed to go along with my Sweet Acres fabrics, but it's great for any fabric collection. It's really fun. There's some people that have shared photos in the Facebook group that are using other fabrics, and it's just been really fun to see all of y'all's barns and your own take on the fabrics, and it's just been really fun, and I'm excited to see those, and I know you guys love it too. It's so fun to see just everyone's versions, even if they look the same. It's really fun to see how everyone put them together. So thank you guys, those of you that have shared your photos. Super excited about that. It is gorgeous in Tennessee for June, what is it, 12th? It's like 70 degrees out there, y'all. We had rain yesterday, and today is overcast. It had been like, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks without rain. It was very dry here. I think it's like that in a lot of the country. And we had a lot of the smoke from Canada. If you're in Canada, thinking of y'all. I know things are crazy up there. Hope you guys are okay. But we got a lot of rain yesterday, and then today it's overcast and cool and just delicious. I'm soaking it up because I know it's not gonna last because June, y'all. But it's really nice out, and so I think we're gonna go out for hamburgers tonight and enjoy the weather. So I hope you guys are doing good. Let's see who's here. We have Wendy's here. Melissa's here. Hey Melissa, I saw your cute barn. It looked awesome. Brewing some coffee to sip while you watch. Yay, I just finished my coffee, Melissa. Dorothy's here from Northern Utah. And we had somebody else from Utah. Let's see. Nancy's watching from north of Salt Lake City. Hey Nancy. Linda's here, and Trisha. Hey Trisha. Dolores is here. Therese is here from sunny South Carolina. Finally got her pattern and now to catch up. Yay, Teresa, that's awesome. Leslie Ann, Dawn. Hi, Dawn. Connie's here. Pam's here. Thunderstorm. Oh, goodness, Pam. Yeah, we had those yesterday, so I don't know where you live, but we had some good thunderstorms yesterday, which was great. It scared us because we have a couple four metal chairs out on our patio, and they were fine. It was just raining, but then a gust came up and knocked one of them into our back door, which is all glass. So that was a little startling. Fortunately, it was fine, like nothing broke or anything like that, but it was quite the crash and scared us to death. Roxy's here. Oh, it's Flora and Lupin's 4th birthday, Dawn's cats. Dawn is a very big cat rescuer and foster, and I love to follow along with her little kitty adventures since I currently do not have a kitty of my own. I am a cat person without a cat. So yay, happy birthday to your little fur babies, Dawn. That's awesome. Kimmy's here from Michigan. I'm so glad you guys are here. I hope you had fun sewing up your barns last week. If you are just now getting your kit or just now finding these videos, please don't fret. We have several weeks ahead of us. And also, if you've sewed along with me before, you know I'm a firm believer in doing this on your own timeline, not my timeline, because heaven knows y'all have lives and other projects you're sewing as well. So if you're not right on target with everyone else, don't feel bad. Feel free to share your barn in 3 weeks or whenever you want, or however you want to do it. We just love seeing each other's progress and how it's going and things like that. So join in when you can and sew along when you can. So it's really, really fun to join in with friends. Okay, so what we are making this week is these cute patchwork rows. I'm going to back up a little bit. So there's 4 rows total. There's 2 like this. These are the top and bottom rows, and they have a half square triangle on each corner right here. And then there are 2 side rows that don't have that. They're 1 block row short on each side. So they're really fun and fast to sew together. You just have to make a couple half square triangles, and then the rest is just sewing squares together. So I'm going to talk about, my nose itches, y'all. I'm going to talk about how I wrote the instructions because it's very simple in the pattern, but I'm also going to show you an alternative method for assembly that is fast and easy as well. So I'm giving you choices today in how you sew these up. So it's going to be really fun, but before we start sewing, I want to talk about another sew along I'm joining in with. Oh, Lynn and Rena are here from Murfreesboro. Lynn and Rena, hi. Are y'all from the Murfreesboro Quilt Guild? I went down and visited there a couple weeks ago. I hope you guys are here from there. Let's see. Oh, and another Lynn is here. Yay. And Susanna. Hey, Susanna. We have a couple of our international friends. Susanna and Katerina are here. Janet's here from Kentucky. Oh, it's probably nice up there too, Janet. Yay. Anna. Hey, Anna. And hey, Rachel. So glad you guys are here. Okay, so I am joining in with the Fat Quarter Shop Haunted Halloween Mystery Quilt. So every year in the summer, which is awesome because it's so fun to sew up smaller projects in the summer, right? Every year in the summer, Fat Quarter Shop does a Halloween mystery quilt, usually in June, but you know, sometimes that shifts around depending upon fabric availability, but usually in June. And then in July, for Christmas in July, they do a Christmas mystery quilt. And they're on the smaller side. They're either a mini quilt or a small throw size. They're always really cute and really fun. The sew-alongs are free to join in with. You can pick whatever fabrics. They usually do have kits available. I know that they're out of the Halloween kit, which is what fabric they're sewing with. But you can totally get Haunted Adventure, which is my fabric, if you want, and sew along. Or you can just, you know, grab from your stash. And same with the Christmas kit. I believe the Christmas kits are still in stock. So if you want to head over there and pick that up, now would be a good time because I have a feeling they'll sell out as they get closer for that as well. I am not sewing with my own Christmas fabrics this year. I'm sewing, I think the collection that I ended up picking is called Twas. Riley Blake has several very good collections out this year. Definitely check out Silent Night. It's Jennifer Long's collection. If you love nativities and that kind of thing, she's going to be sewing along with those fabrics. So anyway, choices, fun sew-alongs that are free. They don't cost anything for the patterns, and you can grab from your stash or buy cute new fabrics, right? So last week was the first week, and since it's a mystery, I can show you last week's. I'm not going to show you the ones that are releasing tomorrow, but the first week was this moon. Look how cute this moon is with the bat on it, you guys. I mean, oh my goodness, so good, right? I love this bat. It's such a clever block. I feel like I need to make another one of these or 2 or 3 of these up for pot holders. I think they're really, really cute. So this is the moon, and then there were 2 little sets of stars, 2 rows. These are little bitty guys. I can't remember what they measure, 4.5-inch stars. So little bitty guys. I used the pennants that are kind of orangey, and all these fabrics are from Haunted Adventure, and then I used these green polka dots for my other star, and some of the polka dots have a little crow in them. So they're super cute little crows. Aren't they fun? So that's what I did for these, and then I'll show you the bats and the moon. So the moon is that same gold print with the little crows on it, and then I have a little string. I have a print that has very tiny stars, so I use that in black for my bat, and then for my background, which is hard to see on this, but it's a white with very tiny stars that are black and orange and gray and green. So that's what I'm using for my background, and it's really fun just to use something that's just a super low volume. You can kind of see the polka dots. Well, they're not polka dots, they're stars, but they look like polka dots. So definitely go to my blog post. I have it linked, well actually I have it linked straight to the Fat Quarter Shop today. So you can go straight there today, or you can head to my blog. It's the second post on my blog. You can just scroll down a little bit and find it. So you can see more information about the blocks and get the links. And I also have, there is it's not me, but I'm not joining in with it, but there is a free cross stitch along with both those sew alongs. So you can make a really cute cross stitch design at the same time if you would like. So that is the Haunted Halloween Mystery Quilt, and that was last week, and this week is a new block. And it is only 4 weeks. There will be 3 weeks of blocks, and the final week is assembly. So a fun, fast project. Dorothy over on Facebook said she loves that I included the minty green in my Haunted Adventure collection. She just got a few more prints from the collection. Yay, Dorothy, I was super excited. Oh, I gave that away. Nobody look. I was super excited to have the greens in there. I really like Halloween fabrics, but I like them to have a pop of something interesting going on. So more than just orange and yellow and gray and black. I love a pop of pink or a little bit of green in there. It's so fun. So, hey, Sari's here. Yay. And Sherry, so glad you're here too. She's got her pieces cut and ready to sew. Yay, Sherry. Awesome. And Kay's here from Lindale, Texas. Yay, Kay. So glad you're here. Lori's here. She got home from work. Glad she got to catch the live. Yay, Lori. Oh gosh, you guys are so fun. Okay, so every week we have a giveaway. They're super easy and fun to enter, and all you have to do is leave a comment on the video, and you can do that live or later in the week, and you can do it on Facebook or YouTube. All the names go in a hat, and I just draw a winner at random. So definitely leave your comments to enter. Last week we had a fun giveaway, and the giveaway was for the April Sew Sampler box from Fat Quarter Shop. It sounds like I really do a lot with Fat Quarter Shop, and I do. They're a great company to partner with. I don't receive any money from this or anything like that. So I'm not paid to promote them. Let's put it that way. I do get a tiny amount when you click on my links to Fat Quarter Shop and purchase things, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. It's just a little bit of like thank you link, I guess, is the way to clarify it. Sorry, if you guys have any questions about that, I'm always happy to answer that. So, I distracted myself. This is the April Sew Sampler box, and I was so thrilled to be a big part of the April Sew Sampler box. And I believe there are still some available, so you can check out on the Fat Quarter Shop site if you want to just buy one instead of getting a whole subscription. And if you signed up for a whole subscription, that's awesome, but April already came out, so you won't get the April box. So it's called Life is Better in the Garden. And every month they put out a box of fabric and a quilt pattern and some really cool notions. So in the April box is this great screwdriver set. So cute, right? So handy for checking out your machine and cleaning all the fuzz out. An iron cleaner. This is from the Magic brand, and I use this brand for cleaning, and I also use their quilting and crafting spray. It's a starch that's really light, and it works really great. So if you're looking for a light starch that you can do as you sew, definitely check out this brand, Magic. And then I'm showing you the extra stuff, not my stuff yet. There's some really cute cord wraps. These are from the Featherweight shop, and they're just perfect for your computer or your sewing machine or anything like that, your iron if you're traveling. So really cute little bric rack looking things. So now to the fun stuff, my stuff. So there is a custom fat quarter bundle in this box. There are 6 fat quarters. You can see the colors here. They range from green, yellow, blue to pink. And they come designed to go with this quilt pattern that I designed called Picker's Patch, and it is this pattern here. It is these cute flowers that are little pinwheel flowers, and then some small little posies in there, and then it's shown with a border, so you'll need to buy a little bit of extra fabric if you want to get the border, but this is the pattern for it, and it comes with the pattern. And then you can kind of see here how it all looks together if you want to use the finishing. Isn't it a fun quilt design? I really love how it turned out. The quilt is 48.5 by 57.5, or you can trim that down to be exact if you want to. So that is the pattern that comes in here, and you get a Fat Quarter Shop exclusive needle minder in the box as well. So this cute little pinwheel flower matches the quilt pattern, and it's really fun. And I do believe they're going to be carrying these pinwheel flowers after the April boxes sell out. So if that's something that you want, they don't have them in stock yet, but feel free to send them an email and they will order them. So these are just for Fat Quarter Shop. So anyway, this is the fun box that came out in April. And again, you can go ahead and purchase your box. This was last week's giveaway. I wouldn't wait too long if you really do want it though, because I think they're very low in stock. And the winner from last week's giveaway is Lisa Brown. She was watching on YouTube last week. So Lisa, you are the winner. Send me an email, bev@flamingotoes.com, and I will get your box out in the mail to you this week. Don't forget that if you are entering the giveaway, you do need to check the following week and see if you won. Because if the prize isn't claimed for a couple weeks, then it goes back in the prize box. Okay, so more fun things, you guys, for this week's giveaway. Oh, Pamela says she collects needle minders and a lot of them are mine. Thank you, Pamela. I have a really good time designing them and producing them. I do all that myself. I don't make the fronts, but I do glue on the magnets and package them. I do all that myself. So it's definitely a labor of love and it means a lot to me that you like them so much. So thank you for that. Yay. Oh, and Pam says that Picker's Patch is such a pretty pattern. Thank you guys. Okay, so I have a fun little prize pack for you guys this week. My Halloween collection that I just showed you is Haunted Adventure. It is in stores now, and so are the patterns as well. I have the patterns for you guys too. And so I have a 10-inch stacker of Haunted Adventure for you. This is a really fun collection. It's got haunted little campers on it, but it's got so much more than that. I'm going to see if I can hold this up here. There are spider webs that are in like a little hexie print. Here are the dot prints. There's some cats, mostly black cats. This is one of my favorite prints in the collection. These are little skeleton flamingos. You're going to see those in this week's Fat Quarter Shop Haunted Halloween block. Of course, a fun by a stripe, those little pennants, and then these are those tiny little stars that are perfect for low volume. So this is Haunted Adventure. You can find it in stores now. And Wendy says she's excited for the Haunted Adventure sew-along. This is a great giveaway. Yay, Wendy! Yes, after our sew-along here, we are going to have a Haunted Adventure sew-along with my Spooky Lane pattern, and I'll show you guys that in just a minute. I also have for you my Fall in Love quilt pattern. This is a fun quilt pattern with different leaves and pumpkins on here, and it looks great with a dark background, but it also looks great with a light background. I shared one of my tester's versions. She put it on linen, and it looks gorgeous. And then I also have a little haunted needle minder for you. This is a little Halloween truck, and it has very fun little elements. There's a pumpkin in the back and a cat and a cauldron and a broom. You can kind of see those a little bit there. And then of course a spider web and a spider. I also have two new needle minders coming out here in the next couple weeks with Haunted Adventure as soon as they get here from the factory. And they are really fun. I can't wait for you guys to see them. So that is this week's giveaway. If you would like to enter, leave a comment. It's super easy. So, are you guys ready to sew? Are you ready to talk? Yay, I'm so glad. Okay, let's look at our schedule here. So this is the Meadowland quilt that we're doing. This is the sew along. We've had 2 weeks so far, but only 1 week of sewing. The first week was just our kickoff where we kind of talk about what we're doing and all the fun things. And then last week we started by sewing up the barn and silo block, which is a very fun block. Then this week we are doing patchwork rows, and then we're going to just continue on around the quilt. We are going to do the flower rows, the flower basket blocks, and all that kind of stuff. So it's just going to be a super fun sew along. And I'll just give you a little tidbit at our next sew along. That is the Spooky Lane sew along. That is going to kick off at the end of July. We're going to make up this Spooky Lane quilt so you're all set for Halloween. And it's really fun to sew. You guys are going to love these blocks, and they're not hard. I'm going to do the exact same thing that we do with all of our other sew-alongs. I'm going to teach you guys all my tips and tricks on putting these blocks together, and we're just going to have a blast. So plan ahead, get your Haunted Adventure fabric and your Spooky Lane pattern, and we will sew this up together. Okay, so our block last week was the barn block. That is the center block of the quilt. It's just such a fun one to sew. If you missed last week's video, you can go to YouTube. I have a playlist for you for this sew along, so it makes it really easy for you to find all the videos in the series. So just look for the Sweet Acres Meadowland Quilt Along. So it's the second video. The first one was just that kickoff video. Like I said, this is last week's block, and so here's the barn, and it doesn't even fit on my screen. It's just so big and fun. So that was last week's, and this week we are going to do these little patchwork rows. So like I said at the beginning of the video, we're going to do 2 rows that have the half square triangle on the ends, and that is the top and bottom rows. And then we are going to sew up 2 more rows that don't have that. Now, couple things about directional fabrics. So with a quilt in the round, you can do a couple different things. You can, especially in small blocks like this, you can throw out directional fabrics. Not throw out, because we still want to use them. They're cute, right? But don't fret too much about your direction. You don't have to worry too much about that if you are doing these little patchwork blocks. Mine kind of go every which direction. Well, no, they really don't. So what I did is I have most of my, so mine go every which direction. Ignore what I just said. You can do that. You can just ignore that. You can make them all face up like your barn, or you can make them face out. So like these face this way, these face this way, etc. So that you can kind of decide how much directional fabrics bother you. I don't really worry about it when we're talking about 2-inch squares. So that's an option for you. I have a couple other tips. If you guys have a pencil, you might want to grab it. I just wanted to let you know when you're doing your background cutting that if you want to cut your strips, I have your pieces. You'll need 52 pieces of your C background pieces. You can cut 4 strips that are 2.5 inches by your width of fabric, and then subcut your 52 pieces if you would like. That just saves you having to do that math. And you won't use all of the 4 strips. The last strip you will have some left over, but save that strip. You can use it on the next row. We're going to use 2.5-inch pieces of background fabric in the flower blocks. So just save that to use in the next row. If you want to do that, you're cutting that way. You might have your own grand plans for how you do that. So 4 strips, 2.5 inches by width of fabric to do your background fabric cutting. Okay, so we're going to start with making our half square triangles. I know it talks about sewing your A and C pieces together. Those are very easy to do. I'm going to show you a different method when we go to the sewing machine. So you can do either whichever way you want. But we're going to start with the half square triangles here. And these are very easy to make. I have half square triangle information at the front of the booklet. You're going to use the same method for every aspect of making half square triangles throughout the pattern. You're just going to want to pay attention to the cutting size and the trimming size. They're not all the same, but the same method is used all the way through, right? So what I have here are my D background piece and my C print piece. No, I lied. My B print piece, okay? So this is B, this is D, and we're going to place them right sides together. And I'm going to draw a diagonal line from corner to corner on here. And to make our half square triangle, we are going to sew a 1/4 inch seam on the left and right sides of that marked line. Not on the marked line like we do with stitch and flips, and we did that last week. But we are sewing on either side of that marked line, and our marked line is going to be our cut line. So I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, good. All right, let's go sew. we're going to do some pressing. So I'm going to shimmy my tools around here and grab the iron. I think I need a new wool mat. I tend to use the one corner of my wool mat and it's getting a little orange. Okay, so I like to use a small mat for trimming. It protects my regular mat, and you can see that I love it. It's a little bit worse for wear, but that's okay. It doesn't matter because it's not like I can't keep using it. This is from Fat Quarter Shop. It's their 5.5 inch rotary cutting mat, so it makes it really easy. It's a very pretty shade of green, and it does rotate. I don't always rotate it. Oh, so no sound at the sewing machine? Okay, I will look at that when we go back over there. I'm very sorry about that. I will fix that, y'all. Sorry about that. I did apparently lose sound while I was at the sewing machine, but all I did was sew, here's my marked line, it's fading because I used air erasable, and I have a seam on either side. Sorry about that. Okay, we will fix that when I go back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down that center line right here. And now I have my 2 pieces of my half square triangle. So I'm going to press these, and I'm pressing towards the darker fabric. And I am going to press both. This is my one of my barn prints from Sweet Acres. I really love that it's non-directional, but it has a really fun element to it too. Almost like a plaid, but not. So now I have these cute little half square triangles, but we need to trim them down because you don't really want to use half square triangles that aren't trimmed. They're much more accurate when you trim them. And I have a little tip for trimming 2 at once to save you time. Now we're only making 4, so it's not like it takes you a ton of time to trim up 4, but I'm all for saving time when we can, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these. Now I've pressed them both towards the dark fabric, right? And now I am overlapping them so that the seams nest, and I'm making sure with my thumb that those seams are nested perfectly. And the print fabric is on this side of the top one, and it's on this side of the bottom one. Okay, and you can see at the top and the bottom that those seams are nesting really well by where the little dog ears are sticking out. So I'm going to place this on my ruler, again, double checking that it's laid out correctly, and I'm going to trim to 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. So I'm using my little Creative Grids ruler. You can use any ruler you like, but I do like to have a smallish one on hand for trimming, because it just makes it so much easier. If you're using your big, 6 by 24, it's kind of unwieldy for trimming, right? So you might want to have on hand a small one. So I've lined up my seam with that diagonal line of my ruler, and I've made sure that the 2.5 inch line is inside. So I have a little bit of fabric all the way around the 2.5 inch line. So now I am going to trim 2 sides at once. Keep your fingers back, please. Do not ever put your fingers like this on a ruler. Even if you're not trimming both sides, you will cut them off. And ask me how I know. So now we've trimmed 2 sides. We're going to rotate our cute little mat. And we're going to place the ruler back in place, lined up with that diagonal line on the seam. But now we're lining up the 2.5 inch line with our cut edge, and we're going to trim this part off. Again, watch your fingers, but we'll do 2 cuts at once, just like this, and that leaves us with 2 very cute trimmed half square triangles that you trimmed up at once. So easy peasy. Definitely, if you're feeling unsure about trimming 2 at once, grab some scrap fabric and practice. See if you are confident, just practice it a little bit before you cut your regular fabrics and see if you can do it that way. So now we've got our cute half square triangles. These go at the ends of our top and bottom row. can see here, this is upside down, like this. So it's just all little squares that we are alternating background and print to make these cute patchwork rows. But we're ending with a half square triangle on the ends for a top and bottom rows. So let me go back to our main camera here so I can show you. This is the quilt. So we're sewing up these rows that go around our barn, and you can see that there is a half square triangle at each corner. So the row is facing up this way for the top, but you're just going to flip the row and have it be upside down for the bottom so that the half square triangles turn that way. All that information is in the pattern, and you don't have to assemble until the end. So don't feel like you have to worry about that too much. Just sew it how it shows in the booklet. Okay, so I'm going to go over to the computer, they kind of have computers now, don't they? Over to the sewing machine. I'm gonna make sure I have sound, so it might be just a minute. Hang on one sec while I figure out what's going on there. Okay, so I just ran over to the sewing machine. I wanted to double check and see if you guys could hear me over there while the camera was on the sewing machine. Let me know if you can. I'm just waiting for comments to double check and make sure. I'm sorry about that. I hope that's okay. So just one second while we deal with technical difficulties. All right, just checking here. Hello. See what you guys think. Let me know if you can hear. No sound. Okay. Okay, so I'm not gonna sew because I want to be able to explain to you what I'm doing with this patchwork row. So let me go grab my pieces and I'll be right back. Okay, I will figure out for next week why that's happening, and I will probably show you a little bit, but I won't talk, so I'm going to explain it all now. Then I will sew just a couple pieces just to show you what I'm talking about, and then I will come back and explain some more. So I'm sorry that isn't working. Yes, Molly, technical difficulties are super fun. So I'm going to explain what I'm going to do, and then I will show you, and then I will come back and explain again. So I'm sorry that there isn't sound at the machine like normal, but we will get around it and figure out why that is happening. What I have in the booklet is instructions for you to make a whole series of little patchwork sets. Let me show you with the top camera. So little patchwork sets. So these are basically sewing an assortment of print pieces to background pieces and then making a whole bunch of these sets. You're going to make 48 of these little sets. So you can, this is the instructions method, right? So you're going to make these and then you're going to turn them upside down so that they rotate so that we have the variations in the design. So you can see that these are all this is a set, this is a set, this is a set, but we flipped this one so it's opposite, right? So that is a very easy way. It's not as easy directionally because you do have to plan, but again, we're not going to worry a whole lot about direction here. So what you're going to do is once you've sewn these all together, you're going to sew them into units, and the sides are made up of 13, and then so you're going to make 4 of those, and then on 2 of them you're going to sew these together, and you're going to have these on each end. And again, all the instructions are in the booklet for how to do it that way. But there's another way, there's another option. And the way to do that is by chain piecing. So what I did is I cut all of my fabrics here, and I kind of have them in a bunch, but that's okay because that makes it really easy to see how they're all different. And don't worry too much about trying to get your prints to be exactly the same as mine. I would stay away from your blues, especially your blue stripe, because you need a lot of that for the star points in the star borders, but you're free to really use almost anything else in the quilt. For your patchwork, you want a variety of colors so that your patchwork rows have that fun sort of patchworky look, right? So just lay them out by your machine in your different color rows, like your little stacks, so that you can grab one, and then as you're sewing them together, you can make sure your colors are different. So let me kind of move this so you can see what I'm doing here. So you can sew your rows together in a long chain piecing format. You don't need to sew them in sets like I have in the instructions if you want to. This is just a choice for you, right? So sew together your half square triangle that would be at the end of that row. So at the end of your top row. Then go ahead and leave them attached and sew together your next 2 sets that are maybe say those. And just keep going down and sewing together and make a long chain of these pieces and vary your prints as you go. And then you're going to do the entire row. So you're going to want to have your booklet next to you so that you know, okay, I need to make, with the half square triangles on each end, and then these little pieces, 13 of these, and then a half square triangle on each end. These are for our end rows. You can do the exact same method for the side rows. You're just not going to have the half square triangle. So let me go to the machine. I'll show you what I'm talking about, and then I'll come back and explain a little bit more, okay? Okay, I don't know if you guys could hear that. It is, I'm sorry y'all, it is muted over there. I don't know why. I will fix it for next week, but um, sorry about that. So you can see how I chain pieced that together and we're starting to form our rows. So I sewed these two together and I had the chain here. Then I grabbed a print because I had done a background. Then I added for this second row a background because I had done a print, right? So it's easy to just form the whole row that way. Then all you have to do is turn them together and sew one long seam. So it's entirely up to you. You do not have to do it this method. It's just kind of a fabric choice for you. And it's just an option. So if you do it this way, you'll want to press opposite. So the top row, the seams go up, and then I'm just flipping this around, and then the bottom row, the seams are opposite. So that when we sew all those squares, those long rows together, they will nest really nicely. So it's just an option for you guys to use chain piecing and sew the rows together and have these, you know, just one seam here to sew them all together. And you can see that I did that here. I sewed all these all the way down, and then I sewed, you know, left them chained together with these, and then pressed these the opposite way, and then just did one long seam all the way through. So definitely consider that as an option for piecing. Now, you don't have to do it that way. It works great to do it the way I wrote it in the pattern, just to sew all of your background and print squares together and then flip them and turn them to sew them into these long patchwork rows. So if it's messing with your brain to do it the other way, definitely don't push it. But that's all there is to these blocks. All you have to do is make up two that have the half square triangles at the end, like this, and two that have no half square triangles that are, you know, one end row each shorter. Let me show you here. These line up so that if you don't count the half square triangle, they're the same length, but there's just no half square triangle end on each end of the pieces. If that makes sense. I'm stumbling all over myself this afternoon. Okay, so it's just an alternative method for you guys to assemble the patchwork rows. Again, all the cutting information of how many pieces you need, what size to cut, all that's in the Meadowland quilt pattern. I have that linked for you today. I do also have a Meadowland cutting guide linked in the video today if you want to check it for if you're sewing with the kit. You'll need to kind of use as close as you can the fabrics that I used where I used them, or else you'll maybe not have enough and you might have to switch it out for something else later on. So that's fine. It's your quilt. You can do it however you like, but just wanting to make it as easy and as little frustrating as possible for you guys. So that is linked in today's video description. And that's all there is to these patchwork rows. They're very easy and very fun to sew together, and I think you'll have a really good time doing it. You can go ahead and let's see, Linda said, it doesn't matter what fabric we use as long as we stay away from the blue striped. I don't want to run short on a fabric. No, you should be okay. Now for these, I didn't really go into the dark reds that like the center flower, because it was more of a tone choice for me. I wanted to use mostly lighter fabrics, though there is some of the darker green, and I did use a couple blues. Again, it's your choice, but I felt like the dark red that has the cross stitch barn on it would have really popped in there, and I wanted the patchwork rows to be a little bit more subtle, so I picked colors that were more in that medium range. So the cows with the farm, definitely the ginghams and things like that. So, you know, if you see a lot of it used elsewhere in the quilt, maybe stay away from it for this part. But other than that, you should be pretty good to go with what you're using. So that's, let's see. Oh, Janet says she spent the weekend cutting out the whole quilt. Look at you, Janet. That's going to make sewing so easy and fun. I love it. That's awesome. Bambi says she got the pattern and has fabrics and she will catch up for the sew along. So excited. Yay. I'm so glad. All right. Roxy says, thanks for the good, covered it up. Thanks for the good directions and tips and tricks. Deborah asked, did I use a pink for the basket blocks? It shows pink and gold on the cutting guide for the flower basket box. I will double check that. I did not use any pink on the basket blocks. That's these here. That's only yellows and greens. So I will double check that cutting guide and make sure that that's correct. Thanks for letting me know that, Deborah. Okay, so that's all the tips I have for you guys today. I hope you have a lot of fun with your patchwork rows. As always, if you guys have a question, send me an email, bev@flamingotoes.com, and I'm happy to help you out always. Don't forget, Lisa Brown, you are this week's winner's giveaway. Send me an email, bev@flamingotoes.com, and I will get your prize out to you. And definitely enter to win the Haunted Adventure fabric for this week's giveaway. That was last week's giveaway. All right, thanks everyone. Sorry for the technical difficulties on the sewing machine camera. I will have those fixed for next week. I hope y'all have a fabulous week and it's not too hot where you are. And I can't wait to see your patchwork rows. I will talk to you all next week. Thanks so much. Bye.